Welcome here to TalkFCB and welcome back to the Champions League. And doesn't that already sound fantastic? Because for me, it's been far too long since we've experienced this European feeling, the unique stage that is the Champions League, under the lights, the pressure, the expectation and the excitement. We know that last year we didn't show up in this competition. It is as simple as that. We suffered embarrassment, we suffered humiliation, and we collapsed when it mattered. That can't happen here. That is not who we are, and that's why this year, it is time now to start putting that right. We strengthened our squad, we've evolved in the way we're going about our work, and we are back here to put things right and return Barca's name to where it belongs on the European stage. That journey begins right here today in match day 1 at the Camp Nou, where Barca will be hosting Viktoria Plzen. There is absolutely no doubt in my mind that we've got to win this game, and we should be winning this game, and we're going to be discussing exactly how Xavi is going to line up. Rumours, of course, about rotation, but exactly what are we going to see? It is all coming your way. This is the Champions League. So let's do it, because kickoff on Wednesday evening is going to be coming live from the Cathedral of Football, Estadio Camp Nou, and it's going to be coming there at 9 p.m. local time on Wednesday, and these right here, guys, are the times where you are, so you do not miss a thing from match day 1. And what I would also say as well, exactly the same time on Wednesday, make sure you're keeping a very close eye on Inter against Bayern, because that game there, you feel like that's going to be significant. You feel as though all of these big battles in Group C, they're going to count for a lot. And I think especially when you're looking at that game there with Inter and Bayern, the two teams in recent weeks, since the draw has been made, they've had their struggles. Inter, 2 out of their last 3 in the league, they've lost. Very disappointing for them. And even for Bayern, back-to-back draws in the Bundesliga. 2 games there without a win in the league. That is unusual for them. So we're going to have to wait and see exactly what happens in that game. But I think for Barca, when you're looking at our schedule, how this group is going to turn out for us, we have to start well here against Viktoria Plzen, put an early marker down, get points on the board, because after this, we do go to the Allianz Arena to face Bayern in match day 2, then away to Inter. So 2 very difficult away games on the bounce. We then play that return game against Inter, Bayern at home in match day 5, before finishing off away at Plzen in the final group stage match there at the beginning of November. And of course, heading into this game, there's been plenty of talk and discussion in the media and among fans from the weekend. Barca's display against Sevilla, it was a brilliant attacking performance once again, plenty of goals in our favour, another big away win. But there has also been plenty of talk as well about maybe times in that game where Barca lacked a bit of control, a bit of understanding and domination in a game that we would ideally want to have. And Xavi also touched on that during his press conference today. He admitted very openly that during the opening stages of that game, there wasn't enough control, there wasn't enough dominance from Barca, everything was a bit rushed, a bit frantic in our play. And there has been intriguing talk there that maybe Xavi Hernandez's Barca looks more like a Luis Enrique team than it does a Pep Guardiola one. And that's something that I've heard plenty of times over the past few days. Personally, for me, guys, that's not an insult. That is not something that can be thrown out there and sort of used against Xavi. But what I thought was interesting today when Xavi was asked about that himself, because he said, I've learned a lot from both Pep Guardiola and Luis Enrique too. I consider them among the 5 best coaches in the world. They're talking about the 2 of them. Now, Xavi said, I prefer to have control. That would be my preference in the way my team plays. But he said, if a rival gives you space, then you've got to take advantage of that. And that is the one thing I'd say, of course we want control. I think there's definitely a feeling, in maybe away games, it would be nice to have a little bit more of control than what we've seen so far. But we've also got to take into account the players that we have, especially the forward players there, where players like Dembele, players like Rafinha, Lewandowski as well, those quick transitions, they can really hurt teams. So at times, you want to have that control, you want to play that extra pass, but there's also going to be moments, like against Real Sociedad, like against Sevilla, whereby teams come out, and it only takes one pass, one quick transition then, to hurt them with the players that we have. So that's certainly something that Xavi is going to be trying to tap into. And I think when you are looking now at this coming Champions League game. Plenty of rumours. We've spoken about it already on the channel a few days ago about rotations. There has been a lot of speculation that in this particular game, Xavi is going to rotate. And he openly admitted, yes, it's going to happen. He said there will be rotations against Plzen. He said the calendar is very demanding, players have to rest, and he said there's also fatigue, there's also discomforts. He spoke about the game against Sevilla. He said the other day, it was a war in Seville. We've got a big squad, and we have to rotate. That is going to be my idea. And I think it's interesting there that he put particular emphasis on that meeting against Sevilla. Several players came off in that game. Several players seemed to have a few knocks, a little bit of discomfort. So I think Xavi's subs in that game is going to tell us a lot about who is going to start and who isn't in this game. Because when you are looking at the Champions League squad for Wednesday night, there is no Miralem Pjanic, who is currently negotiating his exit away from the club. He is going to be leaving Barça, and there is also not in the squad yet, no Hector Bellerin and no Marcos Alonso. They were indeed presented just earlier on today, but they're not quite ready yet to be included. They need a few more days of training to get fully up to speed, but I would certainly expect to see them there involved in some capacity at the weekend in the league. But that is the squad there that Xavi has to choose from. Now, of course, I think it only makes sense there to look back at the two successive, repeated lineups that we saw from Xavi. We saw exactly the same team against Valladolid, and then indeed at the weekend against Sevilla, and already you're feeling as though Xavi is really counting on these players. This would be his favoured lineup as it stands, but we're going to see changes. So where are those changes going to come? Well, for me, Ter Stegen is going to stay right there. We absolutely know that. I also think there's a really good chance that Alejandro Balde continues in the team. I would be surprised if Jordi Alba came in for this game. Now, I do think there's going to be plenty of changes there at centre-back. I think Christensen is going to come in for Eric Garcia. Garcia's played a lot of football to start the season here. He had a bit of discomfort against Sevilla, so Christensen, for me, is going to come in. I think Koundé is going to play at centre-back. We've seen him so far at right-back. I think he's going to replace Araujo, who also suffered a bit of a knock against Sevilla. And then at right-back, there's no Hector Bellerin, as I say, which means that I feel Xavi is going to go with Sergi Roberto in that area against Plzen. In midfield, I believe that Sergio Busquets is going to keep his place in the team. I also think that Pedri is going to keep his place too, although I wouldn't be surprised massively if Pedri was one of those maybe that came off in this one. I think he's somebody we need to look after. We need to make sure that he's getting the right amount of rest, even though we do heavily rely on him, and I think that it's a really good chance in this game. Gavi, for me, is going to get some rest, and I think Frankie's going to come in his place. That could easily be Franck Kessié, and I wouldn't mind that either. Absolutely not, but I just have a feeling here that it is going to be Frenkie de Jong coming into that midfield there, alongside Busquets and Pedri. And then when you're moving up front, I think Rafinha is certain to stay in the lineup. He has been on absolutely outstanding form in these past two games. Brilliant against Valladolid, followed that up with a goal against Sevilla and a great performance as well. Lewandowski, he came off in the final stages against Sevilla. That's about the only rotation we're going to see with him, because he's going to be absolutely ready. He loves this competition, doesn't he? Robert Lewandowski lives for the Champions League. And then I do think Dembele's going to get a rest. I think Xavi here took him off against Sevilla, wants to be careful with him. We want to make sure Dembele is kept in absolutely pristine condition. Of course, he has the chance to come on, but I do think this might be the time that Ansu Fati gets his start. Xavi admitted today he's ready. He said Ansu is ready to start this game if needed. And what a chance it would be. Lewandowski and Ansu Fati delivering together in the Champions League. I would love to see that. Now, in terms of your predictions, many of you guys believing it's going to be a big night. It's going to be a really important statement sent out early on in this competition from Barça. Over half of you opting for a win there by 4+ goals to Barça. I would love to see it. I really would there, to see us kick off our campaign in style and to actually say, you know what? We are here. We are ready, because we've got to hit back. We've got to show what we can do in this competition this season. We've got the squad, we've got the players, and now it's time to deliver. Please do let me know all of your predictions, all of your expectations for the Champions League, and I'll be seeing you right after the game with all of the reaction and all of the breakdown. Thank you for watching, guys, and thank you for your support, your optimism, and your excitement to get going again We can do this, and I will see you soon. But until next time, as always, Visca, El Barça.